Hey guys, it's Erica Suzanne. I wanted to first apologize because it's been probably about 3 weeks since I made my last video. I know it's been some time. I've been super busy. I've been in the process of a career change and a whole bunch of other interesting things have been going on with my home life. So I haven't really had time. So hence I'm in my car at the moment trying to piece together a video for you guys because I do have some kind of interesting information and some other things that I wanted to share with you guys in regards to my health, and I also wanted to get some suggestions from you guys, which I'll cover a little bit later. So I apologize if this is pieced together in some different segments. It's the best I can do with the time that I have right now. So I graciously appreciate your patience. First off, as you may recall in my last video, I was discussing how, first of all, I was on Carnivore Diet day 50 and why I thought I was turning into a vampire. And that was because of the weird reaction that I got from eating garlic stuffed olives, which I definitely now know was more so because of the garlic. I had a horrible reaction to garlic because I did try it one more time with just garlic and it was even worse. And so that confirmed my garlic sensitivity. So maybe I am a vampire after all. No, not really, obviously. I'd probably be melting right now because I have sun beaming all over me at the moment. Well, who knows what real vampires are really about. We only know what the movies tell us, and most of the time those yeah, exaggerated. Anyway, so I wanted to talk a little bit more about the other experiments that I have done in the past 3 weeks. One of which I did because I was really missing them, and that is going to sound a little strange because I know most people don't really like this type of food, this vegetable, but my favorite vegetable in the whole wide world are Brussels sprouts. And I used to eat the heck out of them before I started the carnivore diet. I mean, literally 3 nights a week, my dinner would be Brussels sprouts mixed with some other like grilled vegetables of some kind, or just Brussels sprouts alone with some onions and butter or olive oil or whatever. I would like just eat a giant bowl of Brussels sprouts. I I don't know. I love them. So I tried them again to see what would happen, and it turns out they work. I didn't have any reactions to them whatsoever. I was super, super pleased with that. So it seems that I will be able to continue eating Brussels sprouts on rare occasions. So I have decided to go ahead and add them in probably weekly, just to add a little variety to my diet, just to see how I tolerate things. We'll see how that goes. So the next thing was that I know that I don't tolerate high histamine foods. I know that I don't tolerate foods with a whole lot of oxalate in them, like spinach, for instance. I know that I can't tolerate grains, foods that are high in sugar, basically any kind of potato. But I wasn't quite sure about the fruit. I haven't spent a whole lot of time experimenting with fruit, so coincidentally, I've been craving oranges like crazy lately. I used to eat probably at least 2 to 3 oranges a week, pretty regularly. I know it's not a lot, but it's probably more than a lot of people. So I've just really wanted an orange lately, but I know that they're super high in histamine, so I know that that's not a good idea to try. So I did a little bit of research I basically started with histamine intolerance, trying to find the fruit that would be the lowest in histamine or would be the most beneficial for someone who has histamine reactions. And it turns out that there's a compound called quercetin, which is in apples, which is supposed to help lower histamine or control histamine or block histamine to some degree. So I decided, yeah, all right, I'm not huge into apples, but maybe it'll help my little fruit craving and my sugar craving that I still have every once in a while. So I went ahead and I got a couple of organic red apples, got like 3 of them because I was, thinking positive, like this was going to work. And it turns out that they don't. An apple a day does not keep the doctor away, at least in my case. It looks like apples. Ugh, I'll tell you what. I ate one red organic apple, and within 4 hours, my stomach bloated out like I was 6 months pregnant, and it stayed that way for almost 2 days. I was miserable. I felt like crap for 2 days just from one apple. So staying away from those. It wasn't nearly as bad as the garlic because I didn't have any like other visible signs. It was all just internal, no rashes or hives or anything like that. But it was enough that it was just uncomfortable, and it just wasn't worth it. It was delicious while I ate it, I'll tell you that, but it's definitely not worth the price that you have to pay afterwards. So I don't know. I might try oranges next. I might try bananas next because there are some people online that are saying bananas are safe. I don't know if I believe that or not. Of course, everything is different for everybody, so I guess I'm just going to have to give it a shot and find out what works and what doesn't. Okay, so while I've been researching all of my food issues, when I was going through and reading about histamine intolerance and the different foods that I have been personally reacting to, for instance, grains, nuts, seeds, things that are high in sugar, things that are high in oxalates, apparently fructose now with the apple, quite possibly, spinach, oh, high oxalate spinach, awful, almonds, nuts, just awful. It led me down another path, which maybe some of you are familiar with and are experiencing as well, but I started reading about SIBO, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and I started to realize that I pretty much fit almost all of the criteria for SIBO. And I'm not a hypochondriac by any means. I'm literally just trying to figure out what's wrong with me without spending a whole bunch of money with some doctor that may or may not be able to help me. So I'm trying to get a good basis on my own health and my own nutrition before I go and spend a bunch of money and try to fix something that may or may not be fixable. So anyway, based on my digestive issues, my food allergies, my joint inflammation, my history of antibiotics from having chronic ear infections as a child, my long history with just stomach issues, I've basically been almost 24/7 nauseous since I've been 17 years old, and nobody's ever been able to explain to me why. I've always had very, very severe anxiety, which has only recently gotten better when I switched to the carnivore diet. It's to the point now where it's actually almost non-existent. And I mean, there was a point in my life where I was almost scared to go to the grocery store by myself because I was just so anxious. I would have a panic attack. And just so many people around and the lighting and things like that. It used to just drive me absolutely bonkers, just the thought of doing something like that. I've since then outgrown that, or with the combination of changing my diet, things have gotten a lot better. I really don't let anxiety rule my life anymore. Hey, Kitty! Well, Kitty doesn't want to be on camera. Anyway, so following the SIBO hypothesis, I decided to look into things that could possibly assist with this to see if that would either help with my existing conditions or help with the possibility that I might have SIBO. And I, again, want to stay away from pharmaceuticals as much as possible, specifically antibiotics at this point, because I think I've had one too many runs with antibiotics in my lifetime, and I mean, if it turns out that I have to use them at some point, then I'll consider it, but that would be like a worst case scenario. So I did come across this supplement, berberine, which is a Chinese herb. It's very similar to the golden seal, and it's apparently supposed to help with killing antimicrobial yeast and bacteria in your small intestine. It is supposed to be super helpful for that sort of thing. So I'm taking this now 3 times daily, along with what I've showed you guys before, betaine hydrochloride, which is basically stomach acid to help you digest your food. And the two of these together are helping quite a bit with my stomach pain and apparently getting my food digested. And I seem to be having a little bit more motility, and I wasn't really irregular since I've been on the carnivore diet. I've been just not going hardly at all. So I'm not sure where the food is going, because it's certainly not staying on me. So there's something going on. I'm also, even though I've been on the carnivore diet and I've been feeling really good, I have had bouts where I've had really low energy and I've just kind of in general feel like malnourished or like I'm not getting enough nutrients. Something doesn't feel right. So that led me to the SIBO hypothesis, and I'm going to continue with that. And that's why I want to continue trying other fruits as well, because I think apparently fructose intolerance is a big thing with people with SIBO. So I'd like to try some other fruits and see if I react as badly as I did to the apple. We'll see what happens. So I really would like some suggestions if you think I should go banana, if you think I should go citrus, which I hear citrus is not good for SIBO. Citrus is also not good for histamine intolerance. So if you have any other ideas, I would love to hear from you. I'd like to try and figure this out, and I'm willing to use myself as a guinea pig in order to do it. Why not? It's it's inexpensive to try out foods, and if they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. What can you do? So if you do have any suggestions on food, I'll even throw in if you want to suggest a vegetable or something. I'm willing to try a vegetable and see what happens. Nothing too weird, nothing too creepy, nothing processed for sure. Yeah, nothing processed or packaged. It basically has to be some sort of whole food, and it cannot be any sort of grain or bread, because I can already tell you that's not going to work, at least not right now. But I will continue to work with different things, try different supplements, try different foods, and see where I'm at. And I'll keep you updated. And I really appreciate you guys listening. Thanks, guys.